just travelling along the road here, going down to Portaferry to do a job, and lo and behold, I saw a combine working in the field here, and I saw this away a few weeks ago and thought, what is that crop? So it turns out it's beans. This is just totally by chance that I have come in here, and the combine's working up on the hill over there. So we'll go and have a chat with Fergal and have a look at this crop while we're here. It's a dusty crop anyway, because the dust's flying out of it. So this is us standing beside the crop here. It's similar stocks to oilseed rape, thick and hard to cut by the look of it. It's about 6 foot tall, as you can see. It's been sprayed off. And this is the little pod with the beans in it. And boy, they are hard. I put one in my mouth there to chew on it, but you'll not chew much on that. And there's your beans.
Right, we're down cutting beans today, spring beans, and South Hill, Rubane. We grow beans this past 2 years now. That's the second year. It's working out alright so far. So we're cutting them today now. Was at it yesterday, at it today again. Today's a great day, sun shining. There's a good wee bit of wind blowing there, so that makes it all easier. These beans is for feeding our cattle throughout the year. Now we would mix the beans, we roll the beans through the barley roller feed it along with the barley and the oats, and a drop of minerals in it, and we can feed our own cattle with our own homegrown protein. Now beans are growing for their protein. Beans would be sitting at about 26 to 28% protein. That's the reason why we grow the beans, to get the protein. Now, any other protein that the farmers would feed generally would come imported from another country, maybe from Ukraine or mainly from South America, soya beans and whatnot. The next protein after that would be rapeseed meal. So the advantage of growing your beans is you can grow it on your own farm. You can't grow some of them other things in this country we live in. We can grow the beans the best, hey, and with the machinery to do it, we don't need to buy any other machinery. The kit we have here can work with it the best. And especially in this world we live in today, everything's so volatile, the prices are, I'm sure the world's gone mad. Protein and everything's double the price what it was a year or two ago. So we were to go out and buy soya to feed our cattle, to mix with our barley and so on, to get the animal feed to mix up to the right amount of protein. We'd be paying over the odds for the protein. So we're fit to grow it ourselves, and that means we can control the cost on our farm. Everything's grown here and fed here. We don't buy anything in now at all. So there's no lorries coming in. The only time a lorry comes into our yard is when it's taking something out. So we control the cost of the animal feed, which has to be a good thing. They're a good crop of beans a year, better than last year now. They don't like a lot of dry weather. If the boys with the heavier land the year will do well, because the heavier land would have stood out to the drought better. But they're doing alright. I think they're hitting 2 tonne. I haven't weighed them yet, I'm no sure, but I think that's what they're doing. They're a good decent crop of stuff now. And they're standing rightly, even though they got a lot of that heavy charge of rain a week ago. I'm surprised how they held on so well. So all good so far now. This would wrap up our harvest for 2022. And I think it's a matter of what date is it? 16th or 17th of September, maybe?
I don't go by the date, I just go by who's shouting at me to get there.
Get there. Well, there's 16th September, and hopefully we'll be finished here today now, the harvest, and that's good going. If you were selling the beans now, you would have to have a market set up, somebody ready to buy them off you. Nearly before you grow them, you need to have your market set up as to what you're going to do with them, but it doesn't bother us because we have the animals to eat them, so we don't have to worry about that. That's the advantage of having a mixed farm.
And you can eat the beans yourself.
Well, James, he's fond of the odd bean there. He's
Is that why he's been off for a week? He's been eating the beans?
Aye, well, I know. They do well for us now. They do well, and we'll keep at them here for the foreseeable anyhow. Let's see what else comes along.
So how come we've missed Jamesy again?
Jamesy's away home. This is Friday afternoon.
Oh,
He's away home.
Part-time, boys.
He was putting muck out all day, and he says he's tired.
He's had enough.
He's had enough.
There you are. Well, that's Fergal Watson spilling the beans for us.
Spilling the beans.
Now, I'm down in Portaferry again, right down near the end of the peninsula, working on a farm here. Now, don't think I've ever introduced you to my brother. He's actually an identical twin, and we're very hard to distinguish from each other. So he's reseeding, he's a contractor as well, and he was reseeding in this field here, making it ready for the grass seed to go in. So we're having a little chat and a few snaps off him at work here. So this is a Ford T7 270, and there is a automatic steer on her, GPS system. So how does that work, David?
Yeah, you just program in the width of your implement in the back, and you turn around at the end. Once you're once up the field, hit the button and she steers herself. Sort of my age, you need it.
And then how do you get her when you come to the end of the field? You don't want to go over the dike here, so how do you get her stopped?
Once you just touch the steering wheel, once you take back the steering wheel, that's her back on till it. Then when you turn around, just hit the button again, that's her back on.
Very good.
And there's that.
So there you are, he's just hit the button there and she's on automatic pilot, steering herself. And we were just saying, as we're in the cab there, where would you go to see a view like that there? How far would you have to travel? When you're ploughing, you always get the odd big stone comes up, and here's a real big one, but Davy has the buck rake on the front there for lifting the stones out as you go along. Save you getting out. It's all done from the cab. And you always get a ridge where your head rig ends here when you're ploughing the heads of the field. But you take a run up there with that power harrow and she fills that hollow in very nicely. The next part of our travels goes down to Ballyfinra again, where there's a combine working. Now this is an older combine and she was imported from America. She was from Thompson's farm outside Ballywalter. And Hugh Thompson was a great farmer figure in the local district, and as teenagers we used to love working there. And if you got Hugh came looking for you, you were the bee's knees that he was looking for you. So, but he was a great man in that, you know, some of the boys used to think they were indispensable. But Hugh came along if he wasn't needing your services anymore, and he would say, call you into the old Land Rover. He used to one of the old green Land Rovers with no, just a cab, you know, no back on it. And he would say, boys, you're a very technical man, and a much lesser man would do me. So that was you getting the sack. So, and there always used to be a bit of tee-heeing among the folks whenever you got that message. So, but anyway, what we're looking at today is a combine that was on Hugh Thompson's farm, and she was imported from America. Kelvin, Hugh Thompson's son, worked with her, and then she was bought by a Cloughie man here. So Desi's driving her today, and we're just having a little look at it. She was an amazing machine in her day, and we're featuring a whole lot of new machinery all the time here, apart from my International. And this combine was from the 80s, and you just know by the shape of her and everything that she's an American market machine. So here she is, cutting the last field practically of winter barley. Here we go. So here we have a Massey 8590 two-wheel drive, 18-foot cut, V8 Perkins engine in her. One of the older machines. She's 80, from the 80s, I think maybe 86. She was imported from America. She's that style of a machine. So it's nice to see it working here. I'm just going to get a little bit of it once he gets the head rigs off. It's always nice to see an older machine still working. Now folks, I have a date for your diary, and what it is, Portaferry Historical Society has asked me to do a little presentation on the shipwreck of the Wild Deer. Now the Wild Deer was wrecked off Cloughy, just a few miles away here on the coastline, one winter's evening, and there was 200 passengers on board. And she was an immigrant ship rigged out to take the immigrants to New Zealand to set up a new life out there. And it was mostly Scottish farming type folk that were on board. There were some Irish servant girls and some English as well, all heading out that direction. But anyway, I have the story and we'll be doing that presentation. There'll be a little song or two along with it. And it'll be featuring Willie Watson, who was a passenger on board who had packed his bags from Scotland and was heading out to New Zealand to start his new life on farm. And he was an amazing character. I'll be showing you pictures, a couple on here you're looking at now, of his farm and setup that he had and how Willie fared through life. So if you're farming at all, it's an amazing story, and if you're not a farmer, it's still an amazing story. So we'll see you then, 4th of October, Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. in the Church of Ireland Hall, Portaferry.
Lying in bed, my wife, she said, I'm gonna buy some
Sheep.